Support for this podcast comes from Bryn Mawr Communications. BMC produces a number of informative podcast series spanning a variety of topics in ophthalmology. Discover a new show at itube.net/podcasts.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Four Eyes podcast, brought to you by Young OD Connect. We give you a clear view into the new grad or young optometry world across Canada and the US. And we are your hosts. I'm Dr. Amrit Bilku.
And I'm Dr. Deepan Kaur.
And we are really excited today because we have another podcast celebrity on our podcast today, Dr. Meenal Agarwal. And we're really excited to talk to her because she has been doing amazing things in the optometry space right now, currently as well, talking about mental health and how it kind of integrates into, being an optometrist. And, Deepan and I feel really strongly about this topic because we talk about it a lot on our podcast as well. Mental health awareness, burnout with our profession and our careers. And so we are really, really excited to have her on today to talk more about it with us. So, Dr. Agarwal, welcome.
And Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And would you mind just giving our listeners a little bit of a background about yourself and your podcast?
Absolutely. So yes, I'm an optometrist, graduated in 2008. So it's been a long time. And I have 3 kids who drive me nuts. And I have 3 practices as well in the Toronto area. And I am the podcast host of Uncover Your Eyes, the truth about wellness and health and wellness, which was kind of born out of this whole, mental health being, not talked about, and it was really taboo when we were practicing. And so that's my frustration kind of led me to the podcast. And so I thank you guys for hosting this and being more open to talking about it. But I'm a type A personality, so we know that I'm going to have burnout, and I've already experienced it. Yeah. But most of us as healthcare, providers we're type A. We're perfectionists. We've been brought up like school. And a lot of us, you got to be a doctor or an engineer. And so, I mean, it's classic that it's been grilled into us since we were like 10. So, I mean, we are going to have burnout or some form of, mental health issue at some point in life. And I think the stat is now over 50% of healthcare providers, including optometrists, are experiencing some form of burnout. And many of that is just a layman's term for a mental health issue.
Mm-hmm. I think the other 50% who didn't respond were too burned out to do the survey. I swear to you. That's probably what happened.
Absolutely. Or they haven't recognized it yet, right? And I think I was probably burnt out 10 years before I recognized it. Yeah. And the problem is you recognize it when it's that last straw, the breaking point, and something happens to you or something happens to somebody. And that's the breaking point. And that's too late. That's too late. So I think the idea was me wanting to advocate for it much earlier. And to be honest, it was widely rejected in the field. I mean, I think when I started talking about it, I was probably one of the first, maybe like 4 years ago. I was rejected by every single company. Every single company that you guys work with, you name it, I approached them. Wow. And I was devastated. It was like, well, if you're going to talk about dry eyes, then we'll accept you. If you're going to talk about myopia control, then we'll accept you. And I go, we know enough about it. We talk enough about them.
We talk about it all the time.
If we're not mentally healthy, we are not selling IPL. If we're not mentally healthy, we're not selling your MyoSmart lenses. So it was like, honestly, I was devastated that nobody wanted me to talk about it. And finally, years after pitching, I finally got accepted by one company to even talk about it. And then that's when the ball kept rolling. But I can't tell you that it was such a looked down upon like stigma, like who's this girl? Like, and she has anxiety, because I talked about it in my first episode, and it was like, it was almost taboo to even talk to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's how I
Wow.
felt. I felt almost shunned by a lot of companies, like, oh my God, she's talking about her anxiety. She must be crazy.
Yeah.
And that's a sad part about it. Like, what are we living in the 1930s? Like
Yeah.
every profession was talking about it during COVID.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
single
Yep.
profession,
Yeah.
but
We were
ours.
too.
I know. Yeah.
When did we have one talk about burnout? When
Yeah.
did we
Yeah.
have one webinar on, stress?
Yeah.
We didn't have a thing, and every other profession, it was on the news, it was on
Yep.
webinars for them. What was wrong with us? And I was so frustrated with our profession. It was
Yeah.
either I'm going to do something about this
Mm-hmm.
or I'm quitting the
Yeah.
profession. And it
Yeah.
got to that point where I was like, this is not the type of people I want to be around.
Yep.
And to be honest, it's led me to be working less days now. I mean, through
Yeah.
COVID and then up until now, I slowly went from 6 days a week to 5 days a week to
Yeah.
4 days a week, right? Now I'm barely hanging on, but it's like, had I done that much earlier, and I think had I balanced my life earlier and had I known about burnout,
Yeah.
then I wouldn't have reached this point. And the problem is we don't think we will have burnout.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yep.
because we're type A, we're like, we're
We keep
perfect.
pushing
We're
through.
smart.
Yeah.
We have control over everything in our lives, right?
Yep.
Because that's what we have control over what marks we get, because that's what will get us into university. We have
Yep.
control over who we date. We have control over where we live. We have control over all these things. And if
Mm-hmm.
we don't achieve those things, that's because we didn't get the marks or we didn't like the person.
Yeah.
And the problem is that we don't have control over this. And so it's so hard for us to come to terms and accept that we have burnout, we have
Yeah.
anxiety.
I'm so glad that you just started our podcast with that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was supposed
No,
to
I
introduce
love it.
myself. That's
Keep
my
on.
introduction.
We're just gonna delete all the questions that we had planned for Meenal, and we're gonna really
Just let me
evaluate
talk.
this right now.
Well, no, you know what? I'm really happy we're doing this podcast because, and Amrit knows this about me. We've had a lot of conversations about this with just us. But yes, I 100% agree that our profession doesn't talk about it or recognize it enough. Like, I don't know how many conversations I've had with Amrit, just Amrit, no one
Yeah.
else really in our profession,
Yeah.
where Amrit will acknowledge, like, yeah, I know what you're feeling. Yeah, I feel that too. Yeah. And when I have this conversation sometimes with other optometrists, they just look at me and go, oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm like, really? You're
Really? You
really
don't
like,
cry
you're
in a
working
corner?
there 6 days a week. And I'm here like 4 days a week. You're not feeling any of this? Really? Okay. Yeah, okay, fine. Let's just not. Okay, I
Yeah.
see. And then you think there's something wrong with you because you're just
Yeah.
like, am I not normal? Did I pick the
Everyone
right
has
career?
skeletons in their closet.
Mhm.
Just like
Yeah.
family.
But
I always say, like, when everyone acts like their families are perfect,
yeah,
every single person has skeletons in their closet and they
I know.
just don't know it yet,
Yeah.
or they're too scared to admit it. And how many talks have I given now about mental health where people have come up to me after and cried? And the best part
Yeah.
about it is we think it's just females, but I have had men who
Mhm.
I don't know in the
Yeah.
profession privately message me on social media, some platform, and say, thank you for that episode, or
Yeah.
thank you
Wow.
for talking about that. And that really hit home, because it's like, it's harder for men
Yes.
because
Mhm.
it's more
100%.
taboo for them. They should be the strong
Mhm.
men that
Yeah.
so it's I can't tell you. And the problem is we talk about work-life balance so much.
Mhm.
There is no work-life balance.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
bottom line, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean? I don't
Yeah.
even know what that means. So I like to talk about it like it's alignment. Are you aligned with that week? Are you aligned with yourself that day? There's no balance. So there's three things you want to align, right? Your family, work, and self-care.
Mhm.
Those are the three components of our life that are the most important that we need to align.
Mhm.
And next week might be all work because I'm gone to a
Yeah.
conference all week. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Don't like beat yourself up about it. The
Mhm.
week after might be all family. That
Mhm.
maybe it's, spring break and you're going to spend a week in Mexico with your family.
Mhm.
And the week after is, I have 3 days off. I'm going to self-care, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should just be aligned with what that week has to hold for you. And do
Yeah.
not beat yourself up that you are not spending enough time with your kids or enough time at work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do what feels right and feels aligned. And the other part of the whole work-life balance thing that really bothers me is we went to school and we are type A studiers, you know, that's just how we are.
Yeah.
And we think that when we graduate, we are now this doctor and we have to work so hard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we
It
decide
keeps going.
we are going to take a job 6 days a week. That's just
Yeah.
what we all do.
Yep.
Just
Or
right off the bat.
7. Or
Right off the
7.
bat.
We've talked about that a lot on our podcast as
Yeah,
the new grad
7.
life, 7
Yeah,
days a
days.
week.
Do not, ours was
Right?
6, and honestly, do not do it. Please don't. And every new grad that I interview for my 3 practices, if they tell me that and I find out they're even working somewhere else where it adds up to 7 days, no, you're not doing it. I'm not giving you an extra day. I just won't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they secretly might have another day somewhere, but I won't do it. And I tell them
I
my
just won't
whole
talk to you.
lecture in the interview is
Yeah.
you will last 3 months. Okay.
Yeah.
Do
You'll
not
get
do it.
frustrated. You'll want to leave. It's not a good
Just,
environment.
how are
for
you? And they're
yourself.
like, well, and I make it mandatory that one of those days must be a weekend day. You cannot work Saturdays and Sundays. It is
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
feasible because mentally your brain is wired to know it's weekend. Your body is
Yeah.
wired to know it's the weekend. And you see
That it's
friends are
rest
off,
time.
you know, maybe your family, your spouse, your partner, your parents, somebody's off. It's wired to think that. And you
Yeah.
are crushing that. And it
Mhm.
really bothers me that we think that work is our life. And I have met so many people, you know, 4 or 5 years after graduating that are like, you know, I've been working 6 days and I'm burnt out because now I'm married or now I have one kid
Mhm.
and I'm burnt out and I'm tired and I don't know what to do because I still am working 6 days a week. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And I tell them this week, your first step, drop a day.
Yeah.
You
Please
sound
drop a
just like my
day.
husband, Meenal. Oh my goodness. My
Drop a
husband
day,
has
Amrit.
I've been practicing. So I did a residency. So I've been practicing for 5 years, not 6. I'm still on 6 days a week. And just starting next week, I have officially taken off Mondays. And
Good
my
for you.
husband was so happy. And now I officially will have 2 days off a week, Sunday and Monday. And Deepon is laughing at
Congratulations.
me
Best
because
thing ever.
I think
Yeah.
Deepon came to a realization much quicker than me. And now I think she dropped down to 3 days a week.
I do 4.
4.
Good
And
for
it was
you.
a
I
huge
am
game
so-
changer.
And I have never seen Deepon healthier. I swear to God. But you're so fit and healthy and mentally happy
Yeah.
because she's only working 4 days a week. And I went, damn, I need to work 4 days a week. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
I get it. We're as students, and a lot of students, you know, are listening to
Yeah.
this podcast. Money is always the number one thing, right? And
100%.
we just feel like we must pay off
Pay
this
off.
debt. You know, if we don't pay off this debt, the trajectory of our life is going to like slow down and we won't be able to achieve anything else.
Yeah.
And we've had that conversation at ICO with some ODs on a panel that came in and said, you know, what was their work-life balance like, you know, after school. And one of them, I brought up the story previously on our podcast, but one of the ODs went, you know, I'm paying off my loans at the bare minimum monthly payment, month by month, because it's going to be there forever. I don't care, but I want to use the rest of my time to have a child, get a home, buy a car, like do all these other things. And the loan is there. Like it'll get paid off. And the
It's
other
like a
OD,
mortgage, right? Think of
right?
it like
It's
your
like
mortgage.
a mortgage. And the
Like I'm
other
not
OD
rushing to pay off my mortgage. It's
Yeah.
going to take me like 40
Yeah.
years.
Exactly. And the other OD was like, "Oh, I'm still eating ramen noodles like for dinner and I'm couch surfing. You know, I don't want to rent
Oh.
an apartment right now because I'm living with a friend. I am just working so I can pay off those loans in like 5 years. And then I'll be free." And you just hear these like stories like opposites and you're just like, "Wow, you know what? That doesn't sound as fun as I would hope
As
it
I
to be."
expected after being a doctor, right?
Yeah.
And
And so,
graduating.
damn, I'll just let that loan just kind of, yeah, like slowly sit there so I can enjoy the rest of my life outside of school. Because school is terrible. You know, it's very
School
like
is
stressful.
terrible.
It's a
Terrible.
stressful time.
I like that you showed the 2 sides of the story.
Yeah.
I lived the one side, which
Mhm.
90% of us will, which
Mhm.
is let's pay off our loans, let's just work hard because we need to buy
Mhm.
a house, we need to do this, we need to do that. And the problem is you reach a breaking point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you will. It will happen.
Oh, yes.
And you can pay off I paid off everything.
Yeah.
Then I reached the breaking point years later. The attack, the whatever it is, those feelings build up and you don't have that till years later.
Mhm.
So you need to enjoy life, have that work-life balance or that alignment with what is happening in the moment. Enjoy. I don't know, go to Wonderland, do your things, right?
Mhm.
Like enjoy.
Yeah.
Don't be like, I need to work on a Saturday. And I had cut down my days after I had my, panic attack. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And the thing is, I took off like a good 2 months health wise in different periods of time because I had other health issues that were all correlated to this anxiety attack. If I had been healthier and paced myself, I would have been able to work in those periods.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And we would have added up to the same amount of money, likely.
Yeah.
When I calculate it
true.
and I look at the amount of time I was off, it would have added up. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of time before you're gonna, have that breaking point, need to be off. And my business partner and me have both graduated 2008, so many years ago, and she recently dropped the Saturdays.
Wow.
I dropped the Saturdays like
Like
8
so
years
fast.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, what a game changer. And I'm like, I've been telling you this for like 7 years.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, but this is what I'm trying to say. Like, you can't gain back those 7 years that you could have spent with I wish I did it even earlier. And
Yeah.
it's fine. But like my first thing is, if I could advocate for every optometry practice, like family doctors, to close on a Saturday, our world would be much healthier.
I know. We all had to go through the trenches and watch our health change. So it's funny. I think this is these are really important stories for young ODs to hear. I've had, chest pains from anxiety attacks. Deepon also shared that with me when we were in Alberta, that she had that too. Like, do you want to talk about that, Deepon? Just how you kind of figured all that out with, work? Because I know that's when you kind of changed your work lifestyle.
I like I came back to Alberta from Chicago, and I'm in Calgary, which is a much bigger city. But then I ended up moving to a rural area because I was like, oh yeah, like there's a better job here. I'll get more opportunity. I had no friends or family in this small city. It was like the smallest town, and there was not a lot of diversity in this city either. So, and this was because we graduated in 2019. So this was, the starting of COVID, right? So when I moved there, my whole life just became work. And I didn't get like necessarily a panic attack, but I had so much internal anxiety that it affected my whole GI system. So that mind gut connection, like I wasn't having a panic attack, but I had so many issues where I was like, do I have IBS? Like what's going on? And is this my new diagnosis? I would go to my doctor over and over again, and she would do all the tests, and she was like, there's nothing here. Like, she's like, Deepon, I'm not really sure. She's like, do you feel stress? I'm like, I don't feel stress. I don't feel anxious. I'm not really sure what's going on. And I just thought this was going to be my life from now on. Like, I would get massive or severe heartburn during the night. I wouldn't sleep. I felt nauseous all the time. So I had to I would get anxiety about work because I would be like, am I going to feel okay today? And as soon as I moved back to Calgary, where all my friends and family were, that feeling just went away. And I was telling my doctor, and she was like, yeah, you had anxiety, you had stress. It was all internalized, and it just manifested in your gut. And I was like, oh my God. That's when I was like, that just changed everything, my perception about everything about mental health. And going forward, I was like, I really need to make sure I'm okay, because maybe it didn't manifest in me where I got like a panic attack or
it's
felt
different
anxious.
for everybody.
It was different that way, and I was just shocked. And then
but your symptoms are classic. The GI symptom is a classic symptom, and your heartburn is another classic symptom. A lot of people confuse anxiety with heartburn. So I have a lot of colleagues that will say to me, I have a lot of heartburn. I'm like, okay, maybe.
But I was expecting to feel that stress and anxiety, and every time my doctor was like, are you sure? Like, are you like stressed about anything? And I'm like, I I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think
Like, I don't
so.
feel, but then she's like, and my doctor was just like, I don't understand. Like, all your tests are coming back normal. Like, this is like,
Yep.
I don't know. Like, I might have to send you to a specialist, like a GI specialist. And she was like, this is at the point where we're going to have to refer you deep on. And I was like getting more worried about it. And then,
Hmm.
yeah, as soon as I realized I was going to settle back, basically near family, friends, where I was obviously more comfortable, then it just all went away. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
And then Deep One was
Yeah.
like, I am never going to work a day in my life again.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I
Yeah.
feel. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm retiring by 50, just so
Yeah.
everybody knows
Yeah.
here. But you know what? Better to ask. People don't know they're stressed. Like, what
Mhm.
does stress mean? They don't
Hmm.
know what stress means. So if you ask me, I'm not stressed because I've been taking it all on my whole life. That's
Yeah.
just we wear
Hmm.
many hats.
Yeah.
But the worry, are you worried about
Yes.
things? If
Yeah.
you are someone who is worrying most of the time, which means 3 to 4+ days a week, and there's worry that either keeps you up at night, changes your appetite, you
Mhm.
think about it before sleeping. They're all subtle signs of anxiety that people don't know. And that's why when you see like a psychotherapist, they are going to go through the whole checklist, and their checklist is not, are you stressed? You will not find that in the checklist. That will
Yeah.
never be in any psychotherapist checklist. It will be, are you worried? How often do you worry? What do you worry about? And there'll be different questions about it, right? Does this keep you up at night? These are all signs. It doesn't have to be blood sugar. Like obviously anxiety, mental health changes your blood sugar too, right? So
Yeah.
and you're worried, so you have that urge. Like there are so many layers to this that we're not educated enough about this. So another
Mhm.
thing to advocate for hopefully in the future is, instead of like, a history of optometry course, no offense, but
Yeah.
a mental health course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think there's a lot in the curriculum of optometry schools that could be altered. Like there's so many different like real life situations, real life things that like again, even like business ownership, mental
Mhm.
health, navigating a work life balance, a social etiquette class for like bedside
I need
mannerisms,
that.
like right, like how to talk to your
Yeah.
3-year-old patient and your 93-year-old patient all within 30 minutes. Like there's so many little things
And so
about
many
our
optometrists need that. Like I've
Yeah.
worked
yes.
with so many, and I'm like, you are weird, like
Right?
so many need that, I'm like,
I think we
how did,
probably
like,
interviewed a few
no
of those
offense, but how
too.
did you
Yeah.
how did you get into optometry? Like, I mean, did you have an interview?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, you need that. But I think the issue is, if we put mental health into the curriculum and things like that, it's like becomes like we have mental health issues and it becomes a taboo on the school. But if you look at, and I think I posted this on my Instagram recently, like physicians in the States, they are now, I think one of the states, I think it's Texas, but
Mhm.
don't quote me on that, is making it mandatory for med schools to have nutrition as part of
Mm.
their curriculum.
Good.
But how many physicians have been advocating for that for how many years?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right? We don't advocate for anything.
Mhm.
What do
Yeah.
we advocate for? I
Nothing.
want free eye drops. That's what we advocate
Yeah.
for. Like, seriously.
No.
Like, and we even have to advocate for that. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Support for this podcast comes from Bryn Mawr Communications. BMC produces a number of informative podcast series spanning a variety of topics in ophthalmology. Discover a new show at itube.net/podcasts.
For new grads now that don't really know what the work life balance is, because they're just like, oh my God, I'm going to be graduating soon. I'm so excited to work maybe 5 days a week, 6 days a week, whatever. I don't know what that's like. What do you think they should do now amongst even their colleagues, friends, whatever, to kind of get the ball rolling? Because obviously,
Mhm.
I would say most people would feel this kind of stress in school and they don't think this is gonna happen when they work. They
Yeah.
just think, oh, I'm done school, I'm free, it's over. This is where my happiness begins.
Yeah.
No. Okay. No. It just continues on. You just have different problems, okay, you
Yeah.
guys? Like, but I'm just saying, like, it's
You should be the
what
teacher of that mental health course.
Yeah.
oh, I would be happy to. Again, like I know we were talking about this, but our profession just doesn't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
And this is what
Yeah.
really shocked me. I'm like, why is no one open about this? I'm
Yeah.
here ranting on and on about it. And everyone's like, no, we don't feel what you feel. Like
Oh no,
you're
they
just
don't
whatever.
know
Well,
it yet.
yeah.
No, they don't
Yeah.
know
And
it yet. And also they don't show it, right?
yeah.
Mental health, and again, mental health is a big umbrella. You can even classify burnout in there, right?
Yeah.
Insomnia is under there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many of them and it's invisible. That's the
Yeah.
bottom line. Nobody can show it. Would you ever think I had anxiety and I've had panic attacks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
People are like, you're the most extroverted person and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that doesn't mean I don't have issues.
Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, right. And I
Yeah.
don't do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not do it all. Okay.
Yeah.
So here is my tip. This was the biggest learning lesson. First of all, delegate.
Yeah.
Okay. Delegate, delegate, delegate. And when you graduate, you're usually an associate doctor, right? It's rare that you open your own practice off the bat. That doesn't mean you can't delegate. You have staff there, right? Send my referrals, track my referrals, delegate things that you need so you're not doing it all. That is number one. Set boundaries. Boundaries at life, of course, with family and, whatever. That's a whole nother story, another episode. But boundaries with your patients. Boundaries. We did not do that when we graduated. Somebody on my podcast said this, and she said it beautifully. She said, once you answer that email at 9 p.m., the floodgates open.
Yeah.
And you will get more. I had one patient who messaged me on Facebook and I replied on Facebook to her, like on our office Facebook page. I can't tell you how many, and like they all laugh at me, but they're like, who's written you on Facebook again?
Yeah.
The floodgates open. Do not check your office email after you leave work.
Yeah.
Nobody is dying. You've covered your bases with I will reply to you in a 48 hours email notice. Otherwise, if it's an emergency, you need to go to the emergency room, right? You have that on your voicemail. You have that on email. So what is the deal? Does your family doctor pick up the phone or does your family doctor email you back after this? I mean, I don't mind if you check it like to see an emergency, like if somebody, I have flashes and I'm dying right now. What should I do? Sure. Out of the goodness of your heart, you can reply. But your regular prescription, I need a copy of my prescription. I need this. Stop replying. And when I made that shift, my staff would harass me and they would be like, why are you not you? And they would actually tell the other doctors, Dr. Agarwal's not replying to us. Can you please text her?
Yeah.
And they're like, can you please release so-and-so's prescription? And I'm like, I got the email. I get it. I'm purposely not replying to you. I need to set the precedence that this can wait till tomorrow when I'm in,
Yeah.
And I think that's so important that your staff know that.
Yes.
You know that. Your associates know that. The new grads are better at that. They're like the term we call lazy is actually smart on their part because we call it lazy. We're like, oh, all the new grads are lazy. We call it laziness.
They
Being
set their
smart.
boundaries.
That is what we should have done right from the get-go. Set your boundaries with your patients. Delegate, right? And
That's amazing.
I think those are the top two things that you need to do to have a mentally balanced, healthy life, ongoing. And do not jump the gun and work 100 days a week. It just won't work. And I would rather do what you're doing, Deepan, and work 4 days and add 2 hours onto each day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's important for you, right?
Yes.
You have to see what's important for you. Like everybody has to prioritize.
I love your advice for new grads. And I think one thing that really helped me also and my staff, because you're right, staff members also have the same personalities as we do as optometrists because they're working with us. So staff members also go above and beyond for patients and they want every patient to be served like right away because they'll feel really bad, right?
That sense of urgency.
It's a sense of urgency. And I have told my staff a few times and I tell myself all the time now, your family doctor has created the boundaries for healthcare, right? So again, family doctors are not answering your calls. Family doctors are responding to your emails within 24 to 48 hours. Your family doctor does not give a shit about what the hell is going on in your life if they are off the clock. And their staff doesn't either because they're like, doctor's not here. We'll have the doctor call you back in a week when they're back. And so, even as an associate doctor, like have those conversations with your staff members too, to be like, None of this is urgent unless
Yeah.
there is a retinal detachment done,
Yeah.
fine. But none of this is urgent. Ask yourself, does your doctor do this for you? No,
Mm-hmm.
they don't. And do you still go to that doctor? Do you
Mm-hmm.
still like going to that doctor? Yes, you do. And you still go. So we will not lose this patient. We will not lose this family. Like, we will not lose anything if you do not respond.
And if
Yeah.
you lose that patient, I want to clarify.
Yes,
You lose that family,
that's
good
okay.
riddance.
Good
Yes,
riddance.
Yes.
I
Yes.
Good
agree.
riddance.
Yes.
So, and you will realize that later because I tell you, I mean, I've been working, how many years has it been? Like, I don't know, like 17 years. I have been seeing patients for those 17 years, the same families.
Yeah. Yeah.
And God forbid you get into something, you forgot to send their prescription on time, something as small
Oh,
as that. I forgot to give
they
them a
lose it.
refill for their medicine. They drop you in a second. And
Yep.
when I got sick, I remember and this is advice for everyone. An 80-year-old patient of mine came to see me after. And he was like, how are you? Whatever, whatever. And the first thing he said to me is, I just want you to know I've been seeing you all these years working so hard. You're always here till the evening and every day. And he goes, no offense, but we will find someone else if you're gone. We will all
Oh.
have to, right? We'll
Mhm.
have to. We'll have no choice and we'll be fine. But
Yeah.
your family won't be able to find somebody
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah. That
So
Very
is
what are
true.
you
true.
doing? What are you doing? And I think when I reached that breaking point, the
Yeah.
first thing I did when I came back was converted our contact lens room to a wellness room.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
I
So
know.
I
I
put
heard
Yeah.
like
about this
nice,
in
I
your
put like
podcast. Yeah.
nice, yeah, I put like nice chairs and a table, I don't know, just from online, wherever, Wayfair. And I put some nice flowery photos up because that's what made me feel good. And
Yeah.
and we put snacks. Now, snacks make me feel good. Just seeing them. I don't have to eat them,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to see them. And like we put, we bought Costco snacks, cheap, guys,
Yep.
just like put it out so that everybody feels good. And I actually go into that room and I block off 40 minutes every day. And I go in
Yeah.
that room and I eat my lunch,
Yeah.
right?
It's those days, right? I mean, sometimes you have like that 7 hour shift or 8 hour shift, and you just finish work after 8 hours and you go, wow. Like, and I have
Yeah.
not drank water and I
Yeah.
have not eaten at all. And like, yeah, you don't think about it in the moment because you're so busy back to forth with each patient. But yeah, it takes a toll on you. So,
And then you're eating in the car driving home and your hands like
Yeah.
shaking while you're eating,
oh,
right?
and
So it's
you're
just
so
like
agitated and irritated because you're so
because you have no
hungry now,
sugar.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
This
can't,
is
we can't do that.
This is really interesting to me too, because even when I first graduated and was looking for jobs and everything, there were a lot of clinics that didn't even have
They
an
didn't offer
area
lunch breaks.
for a break. And
Yeah,
if you had a
no
break to eat
lunchroom.
your lunch, you were eating with like 10 other staff members all
Mm-hmm.
on top of each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I guess this is what it's going to be like. And I worked or practiced in a clinic like that. And let me tell you, the amount of hatred a lot of the staff members started having for each other because you're
Yeah.
in this really small space. You're all eating
Yeah.
over each other. Everyone's like, oh, are you on break right now? Okay, well, then I guess I'll go until you're done. It's just not
Mm-hmm.
proper. Like, you need a proper space where
Yeah.
everyone can
People to
fit in and
decompress.
just do
Or
whatever they need
stagger
to
your
do
lunches, right?
or
Like I
stagger
don't
the
have
lunches
that
and like
space. So
and
we
plan
stagger
it.
it.
Yeah, like plan it. Don't think it's just gonna happen amongst yourselves. Like be like, okay, no, this person's gonna take the break at this time. This person, otherwise
Mm-hmm.
it's not gonna happen. I've seen staff just try to staff and optometrists try to be like, oh, we'll just take it whenever, and then you just all end up eating on top of each other
Yeah.
and getting
And at
angry
random
because you're all
times.
in each other's space. So I just thought like for those new grads out there looking for jobs and everything, make sure there is a dedicated space for lunch for you to just take a moment because
Unwind
otherwise
or
you're just
like
Mm-hmm.
be
gonna
able to
lose your
go
mind.
outside, right? I have a
Or
lot of
yeah,
staff that
even
don't
that.
even want to
Yes.
eat there. They go outside, they take a walk. I have one doctor who just likes to sit outside,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's great. Like do what you need to do for your own mental health, your own peace. But I was one of my offices did not have that
Mm-hmm.
room.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's when I came back, I reached that breaking point where I was like, we need this.
You're gonna
That's
Yeah.
make
it.
a
No
space.
contact
I
lens
love
room, move
that.
over, right? Like,
Yeah.
we squished all
Yeah.
the contact lenses into the visual field room and we were like, no, that's it. This takes
Yeah.
precedence. And I think it's up to the owner doctors, I mean, to recognize
Yeah.
that I was late in doing that, but that not only yourself, but staff and other people and associate doctors can all have mental health issues where they need that time for themselves. I think the bottom line for your new grads, for all new grads and people practicing like 5 years out is, right from the get-go, learn from our mistakes and set those boundaries, prioritize yourself, right?
Yes.
Delegate, and understand to be aligned just that week.
I think Amrit and I have experienced this a lot. Like, even you have to stand up for yourself too in any kind of practice. Like, if you're like, no, I just need to take a moment, and your staff kind of looks at you weird, or another associate doctor or the owner's like, what do you mean? You just have to be like, look, like, I got to take a moment. I got to figure this out. Just let me be for a second. And, stand up for yourself, because this is one thing I've learned with myself is I always felt like, oh, if I'm speaking for myself, or if I'm advocating for myself, and if another staff member looks at me strangely or like, why can't you just do this right now, kind of thing. And, I always felt awful afterwards. I was always like, yeah, this is my fault. I should be doing this right now. And now I'm like, this is what we were talking about, boundaries, even with staff. It's like, no, this is not urgent. I'm going to do this at this time.
Yeah.
Thank you. And period.
Yes.
Or no, period. That's a full sentence. Okay. So like, not like you're being mean or anything. This was a huge thing I had to learn after graduating. And yes, as a woman, you're constantly thinking like, oh, I have to please everyone. I have to do this. I have to do that. But no, stand up for yourself. It's okay. You're not being mean to anybody. If a man did it, no one would question it. So
whether you're a man, you're a woman, you have different pressures. There's a lot of men who maintain a lot of the household. I'll tell you, my husband does a lot, so he would probably be resonating with this. And it's like, I think we all have different pressures, whether it's, working too much, whether it's driving, your kids around too much, whether it's maintaining family relationships too much. Set your boundaries, get rid of your toxic people, get rid of your staff that are toxic.
Yes.
Those need to go within 3 months. That was a big game changer for me. I would hate going to work just because of this one staff member who's no longer with us. But it took me years. You feel bad. Oh, I don't want to let you go.
Yeah.
But you're affecting my mental health. So eventually, I keep them on for like 5 years. And it's like, why didn't I do this a lot sooner? Because you feel like you're a bad person if you let them go. No, let them go. If they want their job, they would have worked harder, tried harder. So I think, what irritates me about the field is, and I don't know about the new grads and you guys, but when we graduated, we all kind of like dispersed. So we had no support from each other. I mean, I had my best friend from optometry who we opened the practice together, but I didn't have support like talking to a group of 15 optometrists. Let's go out for dinner every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But when I look at physicians or other professions, they have like every month, let's get together, and they're all still close, right? So I feel like we just don't know how to connect. We don't know how to meet each other. I never met Amrit, right? Or you, Deepan, like, and even if you're in the same area, how do I meet you? Right? Just on social media.
Well,
there's no get-togethers.
We can't meet each other, Meenal, because we all work 6 days a week. That
honestly,
not me. It's like a light bulb. It's like a light bulb going in my head though, because there are so many ODs like from social media that I've met who live in the GTA. I have never hung out with them before because I work 6 days a week, and they probably do too, because a lot of them are like new grads or young ODs. And it's like, there you go. We have no social life. We have no time to just do something that is not work related.
Yeah.
Because as a new grad, we spend majority of our week around work. Right.
Yes,
and so it's
absolutely.
like, that's why you have never met me. And that's why you will not meet me for the next like 5 years.
I'm going to meet you next week. Now you're cutting down your shifts. I'm going to talk to your staff.
Well, no, you'll meet me now because now I work 5 days a week.
Oh yeah. That's true.
But it's so true. Like even I've said that before. Why have I never met this other person before? Like, oh my God, we never go have lunch or coffee. I work 6 freaking days a week, and I was working 7 days a week for 3 years. So like, where was the time? There was no time for any of that. Like, that's so insane.
There's a survey out of Harvard that was done. It's the longest running health and happiness survey on adults. And it was what makes people happy in life. And it wasn't work, success, whatever. It was socializing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being around people, I think was the actual
Mhm.
verbiage. And it was talking about loneliness is as toxic as alcohol and
Mhm.
smoking. It was compared to
Wow.
that,
Yeah.
right? Who do you
Which
talk
is a
to?
huge part
Crazy.
of like adulthood. I feel like being in your 30s, your 40s, you're kind of like,
Right.
oh,
But who
I'm
will
kind of
you
like
connect
isolated.
with? If we
Yeah.
connected with each other, because
Yeah.
we're all in the same profession, we get each
Yeah.
other,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Would we not have more friends? Like,
Yeah.
and would we
Yeah.
not be less lonely and therefore more mentally healthy?
We're so happy that you came on, Meenal. And I think that new grads that are listening and students that are listening will hopefully take away so much advice from this. And I always say that no matter how much advice we give, they're probably still going to follow our footsteps and they're going to have to make their own mistakes and learn from
Mhm.
them. But at least you guys were now told.
Yeah.
So make sure you try to draw some boundaries, write them out, think about what your boundaries would be when you graduate school so
Mhm.
that when you look for jobs, you can apply to positions where you are already confident that they will respect those boundaries. Because that'll
Mhm.
make job hunting a lot more easier too. But Mino, for anyone listening who might want to reach out to you just for some mental support or just for more resources, where can they find you?
The best way is on social media. So I'm more active on Instagram. It's Dr. Meenal Agarwal. That's the best way to directly DM me.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then you guys should definitely be checking out her podcast as well. She talks
Mhm.
with a ton of different physicians, healthcare professionals about a lot of different topics, but I feel like most of them always come down to mental health and your overall health and well being. So definitely take a listen. We will put a link to her podcast in the description box for you guys. And yeah, so thank you so much. And we wish you the best of luck in your alignment journey.
Thank
Moving
you so
forward.
much. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Of
Love
course.
talking with you guys.
Thanks for listening to Four Eyes, the podcast series brought to you by Young OD Connect. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram or YouTube at Four Eyes Optom for more content. We'll see you guys next time.